we ain't giving up no mountain. We ain't giving up no tree. We ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice bread, not one grass, not a bit of grass. We love the open country of the Rupununi and the Essequibo. Take time on night, though we may criticize it. This is our home, we love it, and we need to keep it. We have that right. So we ain't giving up no mountain. We ain't giving up no dream.
Welcome to Facing the Nation for March 10th, 2023. It's a privilege, of course, to be here with you today. And as is customary, I tell you to call up a friend, call up a neighbor, tell them Facing the Nation is on. They can join us on Channel 6. They can join us on our social media platforms on the People's National Congress Reform page, Facebook, APNU AFC, and the APNU page on Facebook. Welcome today. Today's program will be one where, I bring you up to speed with things that have been happening throughout the week. As you know, there were quite a few things happening this week. And, I just want to ensure that my viewers are abreast with what is happening. This week, we started out where we saw Miss Robin Simon, who was placed on a wanted bulletin allegedly for terroristic acts by the Guyana Police Force, whom by now we all know are operating under instructions by the state. And, I will call that state terrorism. But she was placed on a wanted bulletin and she turned herself in Monday. And we saw her being held basically for 72 hours. And she appeared before the court at the Sparndam Magistrate Court yesterday, where she was placed on bail of $250,000 and then released. Miss Robin Simon, coming out of that experience, is still very much in high spirits because, she has been one of the persons who have been in the forefront, even with the issue with Mr. Bacchus of Golden Grove, who was killed, and she was one of those vocal persons out there, seeing that justice is served, that she called and, saw the investigation through, where one of those officers who appeared to probably would have gotten off with the crime committed was eventually charged with that matter. And herself, along with about 12 others, I believe, would have been charged under the same charge under the act of terrorism. And we see the state just, putting persons before the court, placing them on bail, as in my view, they attempt to basically intimidate citizens and try to stop them from, coming out and speaking out against their wrongs. And, she hasn't given up. As you see on the screen, we're showing you some of those persons that were charged for terrorism by the state apparatus in this time. What I want to do, Miss Simon today in high spirits would have went to her social media page, to give a little insight to how she feels and what has happened. And we will just like to play a short clipping of that live.
I am asking for your continued prayers, your strength. I am asking all women, I'm asking to stand with me. I am not a terrorist. My brothers are not terrorists. We did not commit no terrorist act. We fought for justice for Quindon. That is where it started. Quindon received 7 bullets about his body. And elements of the Guyana police force tried to cover it up. Elements of the Guyana police force tried to give Quindon onto his death basket to fetch water. Elements of the Guyana police force. Elements of the Guyana police force. Elements of the Guyana police force until today did not stand side by side, arms in arms, with the family and loved ones of Quindon Bacchus. They are speaking of Quindon Bacchus as though this boy was just a mere factor. So whatever. They just call his name with no remorse. Good morning, Jolly. They just call his name with no remorse. And today we are here because of that. Thank you, guys. Today we are here. We are labeled terrorists because we stood up for justice. We never left Golden Grove. We never left Haslington. We never left Nabaklis. We never left. We were never at Monrepo. I came out with the father and I denounced what happened at Monrepo. Why am I and my brothers being treated the way we are treated? We are labeled terrorists. Across YouTube, the news houses, Facebook, you name it, it is there. My brothers and I are labeled terrorists because if we did not shout, Christophe de Nobrega would have been on the road preparing to kill somebody else's son. And whoever more was with him that they did not pay attention to, that they made sure at all costs their names are not mentioned. They got promoted. They silenced our sons. They stripped McLennan, a bright young man, according to the reports, who did not turn up, but he made a mistake, thought that he was doing good. And it's only 3 persons facing the courts for Quindon Bacchus. When the videos show, they had so many other officers there. People got promoted. Good morning, Dion. We are treated as though we are big time criminals. My people, we can't walk in peace. If we are somewhere sitting or we are walking around, turn around, they're there. As of last night, we were sitting down having a conversation. We were talking about our experiences and the things that we are experiencing. And the Guyana police force got gasoline to be slowing down, driving by, making sure they see who they see. Probably they must have took picture of us because we were in company of each other. I know all the police officers are not for what is happening. And I know they all cannot say anything because they have to study their families and they have to study their jobs and that's their daily bread. They have to take whatever order is given to them. We are terrorists. Did we kill anyone? Did we burn anybody's vehicle? Did we beat anyone? But today, I cannot walk the road with nobody looking at me as a terrorist. Today, I cannot walk the road without nobody looking at me and identifying me as a terrorist. While I was at court, every officer that came, they peep, they want to see this terrorist. They want to see the terrorist, me, terrorist, who loved me rum, who don't care about nobody and their life. Today I am a terrorist. My brothers are terrorists. My family is terrorist family. My mother, you're telling me, gave birth to a terrorist.
So there, so there we were listening to Miss Simon as she expressed herself for about an hour and change on her Facebook platform, and really expressing the hurt that she feels in having herself labeled the way that she was, but also stating that she will stand resolute and she will continue the fight as Guyanese are faced with so many issues under this regime, and particularly the way we see the Guyana police force operating and being used as a tool, a state terrorism tool by the government, because we are seeing constantly the Guyana police force using the officers to walk persons that they deem, opposition to this government down on, walking them down to the station. We had as well this week happening, we had the arrest of Mr. Carl Parker, who is one of the PNC's official in Region 9, who was arrested. And I think he was brought before the court and charged, I think, for disorderly behavior in regard to the unlawful demolishment of the PNCR building in Letem. But as these things happen, we continue to highlight these issues in the public domain and ensure that you are aware of what is happening, because as citizens of this country, there will come a time that we must bond together and we must stand up against this level of discrimination, victimization, and state terrorism that is being meted out to persons within our society. And I cannot overemphasize the need for citizens of Guyana, coming together and being able to stand up to what is happening. The opposition will do what the opposition has to do. They will talk about it, they will highlight it, they will go to the international community and air these things. But as citizens of this country, we as well have a role to play in this regard. Happening as well this the start of this week, the APNU would have held a public meeting in All Boys Town. And if you have been following us, it has been a few weeks now. The APNU has been engaging, particularly the Georgetown district, where they have been a series of outreaches in different communities and public meetings being held as well in those communities. Today, I would like to have you view the speech by the Vice Chairman of Region Number 4, Mr. Samuel Sandy, who spoke at that public meeting held in All Boys Town.
Good night, comrades. Comrades of All Boys Town and Charlestown. Thank you very much for this great welcome. Tonight, I must say to you that I am not happy. In fact, I am fed up. And the fact that I am fed up, I think you also should be fed up. And we are fed up with this government, this PPP government that seems to believe that this country belongs to one set of people. My question to us tonight, how long more shall we sit and just talk about it? How long more shall we meet in our corners and just complain? This government doesn't listen to talk. This government only responds to action. And so we must take action when it is needed. And that time for action is not tomorrow. That time for action is now. Our foreparents, they did it. They did not sit idly by and allow the planter class to do as they feel. The government of the day is treating this country as though it's a new plantocracy, that they sit at the helm while we try and scour at the bottom. And we have to look up and say, Massa, none of that. Them days done. And it's for us to remind them that we will not return to those days. Look around. See where development is going. They take hundreds and hundreds of millions and billions and they sign their secret deals. You're not seeing it in the newspapers, but they come to places like All Boys Town and Sophia and give out a few change contracts. And then you find every media house present taking photographs. Everything is a photo op. Recently, I saw they have established a group of black entrepreneurs. And I saw a few young men around the table. And I asked myself, is this what we reduced to? Is this what we reduced to? But we will not return to government if we are not united. The strategy of the PPP is no different to the strategy of the white man, divide and rule. And they are so strategic that they are fighting to discredit our leaders. And for far too long, we see them attacking, if not our MPs, they attack our leader. And sometimes I sit and I read some of the things our people will say about our leaders. Stand by your leaders. You saw what happened years gone by with Coffee. When they stood together, they defeated the white man. But when they started to fight with each other, what happened? The white man returned like a thief in the night. And when they returned, we were not prepared because we were busy doing what? Fighting each other. And that is what we need to stop, the infighting. If you look around these communities, they tend to label that these are depressed communities. If these are depressed communities, where's the depression coming from? Why not empower the community? What are you doing to empower the community? Putting $5,000 in your pocket will only provide you with a meal for today. What happens tomorrow? What happened to your children and your children's children? What kind of life are you building for yourself What kind of life are you building for your children? A trench contract will not guarantee you that life. And so you cannot sit idly by and believe that they will come and bring it on a silver platter and give it to you. You have to stand up and declare your rightful place at the table now. Don't wait, because it might be too late. Where too many of us, sometimes we sit in the corner and we say, you know what, I am tired. But I want you to look at your children. They are depending on you. And if you get so tired that you cannot go on, the misery that you're currently in, that is what they shall inherit. I do not envision a Guyana where my children will live in fear. Look around at what is happening with our people. Look around at what is happening with our party. The government is desperately trying to control Georgetown. And when they control Georgetown, you think Georgetown will be for you and I? No. You saw what happened with the vendors only December last. What would you say of those actions? Are those the actions of a caring government? And if they can do that to the vendors, what more they wouldn't do with you? They are not bringing development to us. And so, I put the question to you again. What are you doing about it? They say that our youths, the only thing they're good for is to steal. If you were providing them with the kind of economic opportunities, they wouldn't see the need to steal, because stealing in itself is not something that you decide just like that. Circumstances pushes you to do all manner of things. And so we have to think about initiatives that we can take to ensure that a life of crime is not a choice, is not something that our young people will see as being lucrative. But the time has come, again I say, for us to say to this government, your time is up. Are you hearing me, comrades? It is time for you to say to this government, your time is up. At Region 4, we continue to fight the government, because when it comes to the allocation of resources, even though we are the elected body, when we look across the East Coast and the East Bank, and we decide on where development should go, and we decided on an objective formula that should be followed in determining how we allocate resources. If you check in our budget of 2022, when we asked that a road be done in a few of the black areas, in one village, Annandale, they did 5. In one village, Enmore, they did another 5. And apart from the 5 done by the region, another 5 was done by the ministry. But in our areas, what are we getting? Look at your roads. The time has come for us to not sit idly by and take this nonsense. But you see, they're trying to intimidate us. So the protesters from the East Coast who protested the extrajudicial killing, they incarcerated them, paraded them before the courts, and charged them as terrorists. Until we get to the point where we all stand as one, we will not get through. Because if you come out to defend your communities, they will also label you as terrorists. And so This fight requires that the people of Georgetown, the people of Mocha, the people of East Coast, the people of Lethem, we must all come together and fight this good fight to ensure that we see the backs of the PPP. With those words, finally, I would like to say to us, rally with your leaders. Your leaders are as strong as you are committed to them. When you go to any battlefield, the first person they try to take out is not the soldier, it's the general. And so we must protect our general, our captains. We must protect them. We must labor with them. We must stand with them. And we must learn to trust their judgment. And so when others come to say anything otherwise, let them know that you stand with the People's National Congress reform. Let them know that you stand with Aubrey Compton Norton. Let them know that you stand with Troy Garraway. Let them know that you stand with every citizen of this country who wants to see the backside of the PPP. With those few words, I bid you good night and continue the fight so that we shall return to government.
And there you had Mr. Samuel Sandy, the vice chairman of Region Number 4, presenting to presenting to the persons at the public meeting which was held in All Boys Town. And on that note, I also want to let you know that this evening at 6 o'clock, there will be a public meeting between Bent and Hardina. That is the Workmanville area, I believe it is, Working Ross. And we will be having a public meeting there today where you will hear from the local speakers in that area. And of course, you will also hear from the leader of the opposition at that public meeting this evening. This week as well was a very important week in regards to nationally. I mean, the UN Day of International, there was International Women's Day, which was March 8th. And we saw on Tuesday, which was the 7th of March, the National Congress of Women, which is the women's arm of the People's National Congress reform, would have held an observation for that International Women's Day, a symposium where there were quite a lot of activities and, a lot of persons coming out. It was held in New Amsterdam this year. We know last year that celebration was held in Georgetown, but this year it was held in New Amsterdam, Berbice. We saw quite a few speeches and performances that day, but today I would like to share with you, a few snippets from. I want to start out with the chairperson of the NCW in region number 10, Miss Vanessa Kissoon. Let's hear what she had to say.
Come on, say yeah, yeah! Power to the women! I said power to the women! This girl is on fire! This girl is on fire! Come on. Thank you very much, my sister. Sister Carol, you always make me smile. And yes, even when I 80, I'm going to be on fire.
I said, even when I turn 80, I'm going to be on fire. If you believe it and you see it, you're going to conceive it. So this afternoon, all protocols observed, but there's someone I have to recognize in our midst today, and please forgive me for that, because if it wasn't for her, I would not have been here today. And she didn't abort me. She's a woman. She went through whatever she went through to ensure that I'm here to be with you all today. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, put your hands together as I recognize and welcome my mother, who, by the way, is a retired head teacher, and she's also teaching at the Marians Academy at this time. And she brought with her my baby sister, who is a teacher by profession. And so the profession goes on. And I must say, all the women of the mining town of region number 10 that always give me support, young and old, we're here today to support our sisters in region number 6. Come on, sisters, let us put our hands together. You see, one of the things we don't do, and that is what we have to start doing, and all the sisters said it. My sister Mahela, I don't know, your name got so much different pronunciations, but I love you. We gotta appreciate each other. And when somebody is recognizing another sister, you don't sit there and look blank and you're vexed, because your turn is coming. All you have to say is that I am next in line to be recognized, because you are unique. You are a woman. You were wonderfully made. We are God's creation. I'm going to tell you a little bit just now about Proverbs 31, woman, because that's what we are, because the team speaks it. But the leader said something. He said we got to look at economics. We got to look at the social. And we got to look at the political. I ain't here to preach. I'm a politician. I'm a sister. Today's team, cracking the code, innovating food security through pot agriculture, #embrace equity. The team, my sisters, and I want y'all to listen to me, because a certain gentleman, I think he's an ICE president, is ICE or vice, whichever president they call it. Second, third, I don't even care. You know what he started? You know what he said the other day? He noticed that they start talking about Burnham. Yes, we're going to talk about that great man, because that gentleman benefited from free education from nursery to university under Burnham. You tell him. So we will talk about our founder leader. We will talk about the first executive president of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. So the political side of you must come out, because we will ensure that history is not rewritten, but the truth is told. And so today the team is an embodiment of our founder leader, Guyana's first prime minister, first executive president, first minister of education. Man, he got so much force. Put your hands together for Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham, a man before his time. President, first executive president, Comrade Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham. And I say that with pride. I say that proudly as a woman, as an NCW woman, as a member of the party that was founded by Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham. And I have no regrets and no shame about it, because we are women and we will overcome. 1972 to 1976, and 1976 to 1980. Policies of feed, clothe, and house the nation, and also the food 5-year plan under Mr. Burnham. I stand corrected, Ms. Sampson. These programs were at its core designed to help Guyanese recognize the importance of self-reliance and self-sufficiency, especially through food security. Now, we heard everybody today talk about kitchen garden and talk about how we used to import saltfish and fruits, raisins, and all those women who like black cake. Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands. Come, the older folks could help me. Black cake used to make with raisins coming from afar. Huh? All right. And who changed it? Who changed it? Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham. We know Five Finger, but the scientific name is Carambola. My mom, they have to leave because they got to catch the bridge. So they came all the way from Region 3. All we got to catch the bridge. I don't know why I keep forgetting. I really think at the home. Carol, like I want to stay with you. Anyway, we're going. I'm closing shortly. Comrade Burnham empowered our women. I want y'all to hear me. Comrade Burnham empowered our women. And so we were able, because we are the vanguards. I say we are the vanguards. And so we were able to have our little cottage industries. We know about planting peppers and making pepper sauce. All right? But I want to say this to us this afternoon, ladies. There's some people who try to get us distracted. And we got to be we got to be vibrant. We got to be vigilant. We got to be our sisters' keepers. Now, the focus sometimes is on Ali and Jagdeo. Y'all notice, right? But let me tell you something. The government come with policies through their ministers. You hear what I'm saying? They come in with policies through the ministers. So while they're fronting in front and you focusing on them, the ministers come in with policies to pass. And we got to open our eyes. Now, what the ministers say is a representation of government policies. I want to talk quickly about Joe Hamilton. Y'all know the man? When Joe was asked about trade unions, he said that all the unions are interested is about wages and salaries. My sisters, wages and salaries are at the core of the bread and butter issues that are affecting Guyanese, which is the cost of living issues.
And there you were listening to Miss Vanessa. There you were listening to Miss Vanessa Kissoon as she began to present at that symposium, which was held in New Amsterdam in celebration of International Women's Day. I want to play a little snippet as well from the leader of the opposition and the PNCR presentation at that very event.
Central executive of our party, members of parliament. I see Hallie, who I've known for years as a woman activist, Vanessa Kissoon. I'm just trying to ensure that I identify all at the head table. Cheryl Sampson decided I must see, so she should move and come to the front. So if I don't call her, she will say that it's deliberate. It's always a pleasure to be speaking to any section of the party. Today, the section of the party is our women. But this one is exceptionally special because in a long time, a very long time, I have not seen so many young women assembled in the party. That most of the assemblage here are women makes me happy. Women have not only been the backbone of our party, they have been the everything in our party. Men tend to be in front and be seen. They're fronting. Women are always present and the driving force of our party. Forbes Burnham used to tell us, if you get wrong with the women in the party, you're dead. I hope I am alive and well. Our party has a long but very important history. And the idea that the women are meeting with many young people is more significant when it is noted that our women's arm was formed in 1957 and our youth arm was formed in 1957. For those of you who might not know, it used to be the Women's Auxiliary, and then it changed to the Women's Revolutionary Socialist Movement, and then with the changes in the post-Cold War era, it became the National Congress of Women. I want to say to you as women, you must be very proud. And more so, you must be very proud that you are a woman in the National Congress of Women. I do not say this with emptiness. I say it because our women's arm has always been in the forefront of the struggle for women for equality and justice. That today, well, let me put it differently. Amongst the young people, how many of you know what is a bastard? If you know what is a bastard, stand up. Amongst the young people. Amongst the young people, if you know what is a bastard, stand up. The fact that you do not know, what is a bastard must be attributed to the women of our party. Years ago, when we were a very elitist society, when a child was born out of wedlock, that child was called a bastard. When a child was born out of wedlock, that child did not have certain rights that children have now. And it is the actions of Lyndon Forbes, Samson Burnham, the People's National Congress, and the women's arm of our party that all of those things are history and that all our children are treated equally. Time wouldn't permit me to chronicle the many things that women did for this party and country. But I must mention at least one more. How many of you know, young people, that Guyana used to import saltfish? If you know Guyana used to import saltfish, raise your hands. Young ones, somebody owns, good. When in 1970, Forbes Burnham decided he was going to ban foreign saltfish, the women of our party led the way in teaching Guyanese to make saltfish. Many of you will not know that there was a time when we imported preserved fruits. when we had more fruits than where the preserved fruits were coming from. And it is the women of our party, led by Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham and his wife, Viola Burnham, who was head of the Women Armed, that we began to process local fruits and created an industry that many who criticize us benefit from today. You know, in those days, we knew it as five finger. And then when we started to produce it for export, etc., you had to find the official name. So we learned it was carambola. And so, additionally, Surrey became Bilimbi. And I think you must be proud of these things because they have contributed significantly to the development of our people. As leader of the party, I want to say to you, you can look forward to our total support in anything you do. The task of our women generally is important. Sometimes we forget that the majority of our women or the majority of teachers are women. And so you play an important role in molding our nation outside of the home. Many seem to not recognize that most nurses are women. And so when it comes to medical care, women play a fundamental role in our society. And for that, I want to say a special thank you to all women in Guyana. But even as you perform those tasks, you have to perform the more fundamental task of managing families. When you live in a society in which poverty is at a high level, as Guyana is, you need special skills to manage the little money you get. And while the men enjoy themselves, it is our women who manage those scarce resources to ensure our children can stay alive and do well. Again, I say congratulations.
Welcome back. I want to thank you for, following us today. I could have just given you, I would have loved to play the entire video of that speech, but we are basically pretty much out of time today. And I want to thank you, and I hope that you would have, you know, learned something or got some clarification on the things that we have been discussing throughout the week and what has happened during the week. I was seeing the comments in the comment section, and I'm happy to know that many of you understand the struggles that we are facing here as a nation currently. And, as the situation gets a bit more rapid, and, the need for us all to stand together, for us all to unite and, fight back. Because if we are not able to fight back, we will be faced with much, much greater issues. But as a people, we must unite. I see the comment there of one Miss Faye Joseph that we have on the screen there. It says unite. Yes, unity is the key. We band together and we fight together. Weeping may endure for the night, but joy comes in the morning. And I'm thankful for your feedback in the comment section. And it shows that you understand what is happening. And I hope that we build energy and we build faith and we build hope and we are able to bond together to see this wicked regime be put into their place as we proceed in this year. I want to thank you once again for watching Facing the Nation today. Know that you can join us next week, same time, 12:30 to 1:30 on Channel 6 on the People's National Congress Reform page, the APNU page, the APNU AFC page. And just a quick reminder before you go, if you're living in the Georgetown area, we want you to know that we will be having a public meeting this evening at 6 o'clock. And this public meeting will be on the corners of Bent and Hardina Street. That is located, I believe, in the Workmanville, Workman Russ area. So we ask for you to, bring out your family, come out, hear what we have to say, and be able to interact with your leaders today. Once again, thank you for joining Facing the Nation for March 10th, 2023. Do have a wonderful afternoon.
'Cause we ain't giving up no mountain, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice bread, not one garage, not a bit of grass. We love the open country of the Rupununi and the Essequibo. Time or night, though we may criticize it, this is our home, we love it, and we need to keep it, we have that right. So we ain't giving up no mountain, we ain't giving up no